Hello! If you don't know me, my name is Holly. I am a math teacher, and now that summer is here, it is time for me to get back into reading. I do honestly try to read throughout the year, but I feel like it just doesn't always happen, you know what I mean? Especially because I have so many other hobbies. This video is dedicated to me falling back in love with reading and just like desiring to read again. Just that like I can't put this book down, like I have to know what happens, I have to finish it, I want to keep reading, I want to fall into all these different stories. That kind of goes away during the school year just because I'm so busy. So I have been reading. I audiobooked Red Rising by Pierce Brown. It was so good. I finished it. So freaking good. I've been wanting to read Red Rising forever and just never really got around to it. So I'm glad that I finally did it. If you've been thinking about it, I highly recommend the audiobook. The narrator is fantastic. But basically, Red Rising is about this future society that has colonized into all the planets. So they're on Mars, they're on Venus, they're on the moon, all this stuff. And there's a caste system in place that's organized by color. So you have gold at the top, and they're the ones like running everything. And then it goes down all the way to the bottom, which is red. And red is like the hard work manual laborers. Your color determines like what freedoms you have and also what jobs you can have. So literally there's so many different colors. But our main character, Darrow, is a red. And so he works in the mines, and it is just very well written, very evocative. And I felt like I was on Mars in the cave with him, you know what I'm saying? And so very quickly you just kind of see how unfair their life is, but also it's like a facade. Like they think that they are the only ones on Mars. They think that they're still like doing their duty to mankind to like colonize Mars. Mars has done been colonized, okay? Once Darrow has that like realization, that's what really kicks off the whole story, and it's so amazing. It's so good. Highly recommend. So I ended up giving that book 4 stars because I thought it was just really, really good storytelling. It's very much that like sci-fi fantasy that I love, that I've been missing. And I have already started the second book, which is Golden Sun, and I am very much enjoying it. As far as physical reading, I picked up The Favorites, finally. This is another book that I have been wanting to read for forever. I'm pretty sure that this was a book of the month book, and I didn't pick it. Literally, I remember I think it was January of last year. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it was January of 2025. And I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, that looks good. I don't know why I didn't pick it. I don't know what I picked instead. But literally this book is everything that I love. It's competitive. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So The Favorites is about Shaw and Roka, and they are these competitive ice dancers from back in the, it took place, did it start in the 90s, I want to say, into like the 2000s, and it's just their story. So it's written in a very interesting way where it's like someone made a documentary about it. So in between like each chapter, you're getting like the script from the documentary. So it like details exactly what the setting looks like. It's like, oh, it's a clip of Katarina and Heath when they were 10 years old and they're ice skating and whatever. And then it has like clips from people doing like interviews, like people in their lives, like coaches and teammates or rivals or the judges and all that sort of stuff. So you're getting all of this like different perspective, and then the main book is written from Katarina Shaw's perspective. And this book read like a Taylor Jenkins read to me. This reminded me so much of what's it called? Not Malibu Rising. What's the tennis one? Someone's Back. Carrie Soto is Back. Oh my gosh, it reminded me so. I loved Carrie Soto is Back. This was that, but better. Like it was so good. Just the story from her as a teenager to her in, I think it goes all the way up to like her 30s or 40s. And it just spans that whole time of the ups and downs of her competing and going to the Olympics, and then just like also her personal relationship. Like there were so many scandals that she was involved in, and it is so good. It's very much giving Carrie Soto Is Back and I, Tonya. Beautiful. So good. Highly recommend. I gave it 5 stars because I literally, you know how I was talking about I'm looking for a book that makes me like unable to put it down? That's what The Favorites did. I started it and I think I read like 2 pages, put it down, and then I basically finished it in a few more sittings. Like I think I was at 40% just now and I finished it. There were so many twists. Like I kept thinking it's not gonna get more dramatic. It can't be worse than this. Like it can't go anywhere. Boy, it did. It did. It kept going. It was so amazing. So that being said, I am absolutely dying to keep reading Golden Sun or listening to Golden Sun. Although now that I'm not having to commute to work, I don't know if I'm going to continue with the audiobook or if I'm going to try and get it on my Kindle, or maybe I'll just go buy the physical copies because I'm going to want them because I want my husband to read them and I love them. But I like to have an audiobook and a physical book going at the same time. Looking at my shelf, let's go to my bookshelf, shall we? So I very much enjoy reading on my Kindle. Very much enjoy my Kindle. However, I have so many books. This whole shelf, you can't really see it. Let's tilt you down. Okay. This whole shelf is books that I haven't read yet. And I don't know what I want to read. I don't know what I'm in the mood to read. I want to read a book exactly like The Favorites, but I don't know if I have one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Book of the Month books that I need to read. Almost a year's worth of Book of the Month books that I need to read. I started Wild Dark Shore last summer and put it down and never picked it up again because it's not a summer read, but now it's summer again. This one is calling my name though. These Summer Storms. I don't even remember what it's about. Maybe like a family drama. A smart and tender story about the transformative power of grief, love, and family. This luscious novel explores past secrets, present truths, and futures forged in the wake of wild summer storms. Sounds good to me. Great. Okay. Yes, I'm sitting in my car in the middle of a parking lot in the middle of nowhere because I drove with my husband. He had to go do some work stuff out of town, so I decided to ride with him, keep him company. But now that he's doing his work stuff, I am starting These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. I just finished chapter 1, so I'm only like 10 pages in. Basically what I'm gleaning is the main character, what is her name? Alice. The main character, Alice, is going home for her dad's funeral, I'm pretty sure. And she is like no contact with her family up until this point. And her dad was like this great businessman who like he was like the Steve Jobs of this world. Was it Steve Jobs that did Apple? I think so. But basically in this story, the Storm family is the one responsible for it. So she's going home. Their writing style is very long-winded and very descriptive, which is not a bad thing. Like there was this one part that I actually really liked. Through the window on the train platform beyond, a group of 20-somethings tumbled down the escalator, laughing and shouting, a collection of duffel and weekender bags, bright smiles, sundresses, shorts, and sunglasses, as though the night hadn't fallen outside. And maybe it hadn't for them. Maybe they were in that gorgeous moment in life where there was no such thing as the dark. Instead, it was all daytime, full of promise and empty of fear. So that's like the writing style. And I like that. But I also need it to be broken up with dialogue. So I'm hoping that once she like gets to her family and the drama starts, there'll be a lot more dialogue. And I think it will. I'm just impatient. So I am on chapter 8 of These Summer Storms. And basically what I know so far is, I think the last time I updated it was that she was going back home for her father's funeral. Well, it turns out he was like an eccentric, crazy person and didn't just leave them the inheritance because he's like a billionaire, you know? Billions heir, I don't know. But instead of just leaving them the money like a normal person, he gave them all tasks to do. And they don't get the money unless everyone completes their task in a week. So it's crazy and toxic. But you know what? I'm enjoying it. Okay, I am. It's frustrating because all these people, I just like want to grab them and shake them. Because they're all just like so focused on the money and like their lifestyle that I'm like, why are you not like protecting your peace? Like, why are you not setting up boundaries or anything? But it is just like that rich family drama that, you know, we all know and love. But like I said, I'm on chapter 8, so still in the build-up, I fear. Okay, so I just finished these summer storms, and honestly, I'm feeling kind of indifferent about it. It was fine. The story was entertaining, I guess. Honestly, this book just kind of annoyed me. Like, it was fine. I don't think I'm ever gonna think about it again. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. It felt very repetitive at one point because it was like they just kept doing the same things and making the same decisions and reacting the same way that I was like, I already read this. Like, why am I watching this again? So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I didn't hate it by any means, but I'm just never gonna think about it or recommend it to anyone. So maybe it was 2.5 stars. Because if it's 3 stars, I would recommend it. So I guess I'll give it 2.5 stars because it was fine. You know, I'm probably about 75% of the way through with, what's the other book I'm reading? I'm listening to Golden Sun. I'm 73% of the way through Golden Sun and I'm eating it up. It's so good. I'm so invested in this story and the world building. I'm just loving it. I even got my husband to start reading Red Rising. So now he's started it and he's like telling me his theories and his thoughts and what he thinks of it. And I love it. It's really funny because my husband is a much more observant reader than I am. Like, he's constantly trying to problem solve and predict what's gonna happen. So he's like thinking about it a lot more than me, whereas I'm just like along for the ride. Like, I'm not trying to predict anything. So it's so funny hearing some of his theories and his guesses, and I'm like, dang, I never saw that coming, and you guessed it 10 chapters before it actually happened and stuff like that. So I'm just like, it's really, really cool to have someone else experience it with you. All right, what shall we read next? Back to the bookshelf. Because I am feeling another book. I'm not feeling my Kindle right now. I really do want to get this shelf, maybe not entirely read because that's crazy, but I do want to make a sizable dent this summer. Okay, so I honestly have had these Book of the Month books for so long that I don't even remember what they're about. So I feel like I could pick any of them and it would be good. Okay, so I think I have The Burning Side. I think that's literary fiction. Red City, which is fantasy. The Names and Wild Dark Shore, which I think are both fiction. Best Offer Wins and Her One Regret, I think are both kind of like on the thriller mystery side. A Good Animal, Kin, and Porcupines, which I think are all fiction. I am picking a lot of fiction about like families and relationships and dynamics, which is really funny because I feel like I thought, like, when I was reading in high school and stuff, I was like, oh, I hate fiction, like, it's normal, I want to escape, I want to, you know, fantasy was my thing, and I still do love fantasy so much, obviously, I'm reading Red Rising, but it's very interesting how my book taste has changed over the years. But right now, I'm feeling, let's see, what is Best Offer Wins about? Oh, yeah, so this one is How Far Would You Go for the House of Your Dreams? So I'm pretty sure she, like, is really desperate to get a house, and she starts stalking this family that put their house up for sale so that she can like guarantee to get the house. I don't know. It just seems kind of sinister, maybe a little bit crazy. Let's try it. Okay, I am over halfway done with Best Offer Wins, and this book is crazy. The main character, Margot, is literally insane, and she is making me so anxious. I've read, let's see, this is a very, very short book, and I'm on page 155. Basically just read that in one sitting because it's very quick, very easy read. Basically, she is desperate to find a house, so she goes to some insane levels of stalking and like spying and investigating to try and get this house of her dreams. And it is just making me so anxious because I'm like, girl, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Oh my gosh, she's stressing me out. And there's just, I just know it's not gonna end well. But I like the writing, I like the pacing. I was gonna say I like the characters, but she's driving me insane. But like in a good way, like a well-written character that's meant to make you want to rip your hair out. You know what I mean? So I low-key plan on finishing this today just because I don't think I can wait until tomorrow to figure out what this maniac does, because it is... Okay, I've been reading a bit more and this lady is delusional. She is delusional. Like, she keeps talking about like the house as if she already owns it. I don't know how you get to that level of insanity and just like disconnectedness from the real world. Like, she is so hell-bent on this house that nothing else matters. I'm invested. Okay, I have to see how this ends. But oh my goodness, I could never, you know, if you maybe think that some of the things that you do are delusional, you should just read Best Offer Wins, and I'm sure it'll make you feel a lot better about yourself. Okay, so I did in fact finish Best Offer Wins today. Granted, it was a very, very short book, so easy read. If you are looking for something quick, it's under 300 pages. And if you are just dying to read about an unhinged woman spiraling further and further into insanity, wow, this is the book for you. I honestly thought it was really good right up until the end. The end kind of took a turn that I was not expecting really at all. The like very end, like the very last paragraph, I'm not super happy with, but that's me being nitpicky. Overall, I was entertained the entire time. I had no clue what was gonna happen next. What more can I ask for, you know? So I would give this one probably 3 stars. Again, this is not one that I see myself necessarily coming back to, but it was enjoyable. And if you're just looking for an easy read that's entertaining, this one was pretty good. Can y'all believe it? I'm 2 books down. Okay, now I might want to try my Kindle. So I was looking through Kindle Unlimited earlier and I found We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark. I have not really seen anyone talk about this or heard anything about it, but it is a fantasy, and we all know I love a good fantasy. I think it's about vampires, maybe? Okay, an epic romantasy of forbidden love, deadly secrets, and vampires in a high-stakes arena. Discover a vividly reimagined ancient Rome. At this point, I'm trying to stay away from romantasy. Romantasy used to be like my favorite genre because my ideal genre is fantasy with a subplot of romance. However, romantasy nowadays just means fantasy with a whole lot of smut. And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not a huge fan of smut. I can do without. So if I ever see romantasy, it like breaks my heart a little bit because I'm like, usually the book sounds interesting and I'm like, do I give it a shot and hope that it's not obscene. But you know what? I'm gonna give it a try because, let's see, typical time to read. It's 430 pages. Maybe I'll give it a shot. As a backup, let's pick another one. Because I try to always be reading 2 separate genres. So I have a sci-fi fantasy on right now that I'm obviously listening to. And so I like to have a different vibe. That way I don't get the books confused. The Knave and the Moth is out. It's not on Kindle Unlimited, unfortunately. But that is the second book in a duology that I started last year. I think it was Knave and the Moon, by Rachel Gillig. The first book was called Night and the Moth, I think, and this is Knave and the Moon. And I really, really enjoyed that one. So I'm gonna have to get on Libby and see if I can get the Kindle version through Libby. If you don't know, I rarely buy books except through Book of the Month. I'm not trying to spend that much money. I'm a teacher. We're on a budget, you know what I'm saying? So I have Kindle Unlimited and Libby, which Libby is an app that connects to your library, and you can read through your Kindle app on your phone. You can read on your Kindle, like it'll send the book there, and they also do audiobooks. So a lot of my audiobooks come from Libby. My husband has Audible, so I'll sometimes log into his account, but for the most part, all of my audiobooks come from Libby. And then if there's ever a book that I want that's not on Kindle Unlimited, I will usually just wait until I can get it on Libby. Crowns of Neoxia series, and I fear that I'm just going to give up on that series because I absolutely I was obsessed with books 1 and 2. But book 5 is now out, The Lion in the Deathless Dark, and I just remember not caring about the last book. Whatever the 4th book was, I couldn't be bothered with it, so I think I'm going to put that series to rest, unfortunately. I've actually seen a lot of people talk about Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I think it's also fantasy. Let's see. V.E. Schwab wrote The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I loved it. But so far, I've tried a few other of her books, and I just haven't been able to get into them. Maybe this is the one that I'll be able to get into. Let's see, what is it even about though? A new genre-defying novel about immortality and hunger? Is this about vampires? This is a story about life, how it ends and how it starts. Okay, sorry, I'm just already not interested. Crown Me Dead. The cover looks very interesting, but it's a dark fantasy romance. So I don't think it's going to be for me. I feel like I'm in the mood for something specific, and I just don't know what it is. Okay, this is kind of crazy, but why do I kind of want to read a classic right now? Okay, so last night I actually ended up starting, what is it called? We Who Die? We Who Will Die. The fantasy book that I said I probably wasn't gonna like. I just decided to go ahead and read it because I really am just in a fantasy mood. And this story is about this girl who previously won some sort of like tournament, and now she's gonna have to do another tournament. In this world, there are vampires who are written not cringe, and they're actually written pretty cool so far. And then the magic system is really cool because it's like some people are born with sigils on their foreheads, and the color of the sigil determines how powerful they are, and like how big it is determines how powerful they are. And she has a sigil, but it never grew, so she doesn't have any powers, which is apparently really embarrassing. Parents out of the picture. So she is solely taking care of her 2 younger brothers. I think she's probably around 20, and her siblings are 14-year-old twins. One of them is really sick. So a vampire like corners her and is like, hey, I'll heal your brother, like I'll get you the stuff to heal your brother if you compete in the Sundering for me and get into the Emperor's Guard and eventually kill the Emperor for me. Otherwise, I'll kill you and your family. And so she really doesn't have a choice. So I am only 40 pages in. I'm 10%. This story is setting itself up to be pretty interesting, but it is first person, which I don't love. And it is like just a common trope that we've seen before of the girl with no power ends up overthrowing the whole society. Now, I'm trying to keep an open mind because I knew what I was signing up for, so I'm enjoying it, I guess, so far. It hasn't been too cringe, just very cliche, I guess, but hey, I'm only 40 pages in. Okay, I am on chapter 17, meaning I am 43% of the way through We Who Will Die. And honestly, I'm really enjoying it. I am having a very good time with this book. I will say the pacing is off and the writing feels like, I don't know, amateur. It feels like I'm reading the rough draft of a really good book, if that makes sense. So like there are certain things where I'm like, that's weird. But the story is really good. And I actually am liking the characters and just kind of the way that it's developing. You get like flashbacks of her life prior to her going into the sands, which was the first arena that she fought in. So the way that this book is written, it's kind of like Roman Empire, but with vampires and magic. So she's basically a gladiator. She won her first like gladiator event, and now 6 years later, she's doing another one because the vampire forced her to. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would, so that's a plus. See, sometimes you just gotta take a risk. You just gotta take a leap of faith, you know what I'm saying? Okay, if you guys know me, you know I'm a in bed by 8, asleep by 10 type of girl. It is almost 1 a.m. and I am 90% of the way through We Who Will Die. And I just can't stop. I can't stop. I have to be up at 6 tomorrow. I'm only gonna get 5 hours of sleep. But I'm like, you know what? Let me just finish. It's only 10%. Let me just finish. So the story is good. However, it's as if I'm reading, I think I might have said this the other day, but it's like I'm reading a rough draft version of this story. Like it's all over the place. Character arcs are happening extremely quickly. Like the pacing is wild. So I wouldn't say it's a good book, but it's a good story. And if you know, you know that it's a distinct difference. Okay, it is now the next day. I did in fact finish We Who Will Die last night at about 2 in the morning. I cannot believe I stayed up that late. That is just not me. That is just not something I do. But I was so close to the end. I think I was at 60% when I started reading last night. And then I was ready to go to bed at like 80-ish%. But I was like, well, I'll just keep reading. You know, I'm in bed, but I'll just keep reading. And I got to 90%. And it was so late. I just had to finish it. Is the next book even available? January. I have to wait until January. I'm not going to remember this book. So I did in fact finish it. And what a wild ride that this was. I liked the world. I did like the characters. Even though we are in first person, it was not like cringe to me for the most part. I really did like the vampires and the magic system that they had. I thought that it was very well thought out and very easy to follow. But the one thing that I just could not get past in this book was the writing. It feels very, very amateur. And I hate saying amateur because I don't mean like, it's just like, it feels like it needed to be edited a few times. Like this story felt like a very good story. Like I was invested. Obviously I stayed up till 2 to finish it, but it just, the execution was not really there. So that is so sad to me. And I'm hoping, let me see. I wonder if that was her first book. Oh no, not even close. She's a best-selling author. Okay, so she has written a lot. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Okay, so she's just not a good writer. Like it was, I mean, she was fine, but it was like, she relied on the same literary devices over and over and over again, to the point where like it was expected and easily predictable. Not like the story was easily predictable, but the way she was writing the story was easily predictable. And it started to feel very repetitive with the writing. Also, it was very disjointed, very jumpy. Like the pacing was all over the place. It was hard to follow from thought to thought. So this was the type of book that I consider junk food. So it's like, it's not good, you know, but it's good enough. So it's like, I'm consuming it willingly and enjoying my time, but like, I know it's not good. You know what I mean? It was an interesting, entertaining read that if you are looking for vampires and magic and fighting in the Roman Empire with some romance and gods and stuff, go for it. Go for it. It was good. If you are expecting good writing, look elsewhere. However, I'm torn on what to rate this one because I mean, like I just finished it yesterday and I already forgot what happened. Like so many big things happened, but it happened so fast that it was like you didn't have time to digest what just happened before something else happened. All that being said, I think I'm gonna have to give it 3 stars because I would still recommend this book to people if that's what you're looking for, with the caveat of I don't think this is written super well. But we're not always looking for the best written book. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're just looking for a good story. And that's what this was. So I'm going to give it 3 stars for now. I might change my mind later. I also might never think about it again. Will I continue the series? Who knows? January is a very far way away. The chances of me remembering what happened in this book, slim to none. Because I already don't remember. But anyway, how many books did I read in this video? So there was Red Rising and The Favorites, but I read those before I started this video, so we're not gonna count those. So I read These Summer Storms, Best Offer Wins. Oh, and I just finished Golden Sun, the audiobook that I was listening to. I'm devastated. Like literally, I wish I could talk about it, but it's the 2nd book in a series. If you are into sci-fi fantasy at all, please read Red Rising or listen to the audiobook like I did. The audiobook is fantastic. It's so good. Anyway, so Golden Sun, Best Offer Wins, These Summer Storms, and We Who Will Die. I think those 4. That'd be embarrassing if I'm forgetting anything. But yay, summer has started. Hobby time is here. I'm hoping to read plenty more books over this summer. If you have any book recommendations for me based on, you know, like my thoughts on this video, please let me know down in the comments. If you've read any of these books and you kind of want to chat about it, again, let me know in the comments. I love talking books and I just love talking to you guys. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.